Question number 18. So question number 18 wants us to write and solve equations in context, alright? So whenever we're trying to evaluate an equation in a context, guys, we need to figure out what the equation is even asking us to do, right? So we have a hint with the question. It says write and solve a linear equation modeling the scenario below. So we know that linear means y equals mx plus b. But what if you weren't given that hint and all you were given was the question? So let's read the question to try to evaluate what it wants us to do and if we could figure out the y equals mx plus b with this question. So it says, members of a soccer team raised $2,143 to go to a tournament, all right? So that's the amount that they have all together. That would technically represent an output, okay? Because that's the amount that they've put all together to spend, all right? They rented a bus for $888.50, all right? So that's the amount that they're spending only once just so that they can get the bus, all right? They don't have to pay any amount per miles. They don't have to pay any amount as you go to a certain distance, all right? This amount is the standard fee they get just for renting the bus. So this would technically be the starting value, all right? And they budgeted $62.75 per player for meals, all right? So that $62.75 is the amount that they're going to spend on each player, all right? So that 62.75 is technically representing a rate that is going to be changing as you get more and more players. So that would be the rate that's changing as you get more input, as you get more players, all right? Write and solve an equation which can be used to determine X, which is the number of players the team can bring to the tournament, all right? So again, just by reading that, guys, we could saw that this represents the output or the total, all right? So let's actually replace that with the total because that's the largest amount that they raised together, all right? So we need to now evaluate what that rate would be, okay? So 62.75 is the amount that they're spending per player. So 62.75 would be the amount that they're spending per player, and they represent player as X, okay? And then the starting value or the amount that they're spending only once would be the 888.50. All right? And that's how you formulate that equation. And if you see, it does look like that y equals mx plus b, where y is that total, m is that slope, all right? And b is that y-intercept, okay? And what keyword could we use to figure out that the 62.75 is the slope? The word per, all right? So again, guys, that's how I know that this correlated to the slope, all right? This was the largest amount, so that had to be your total, okay? And this was what we spent to rent the bus only once, so that had to be your y-intercept. Okay? So now we need to solve this, okay? So to solve this, all you have to do, guys, is move this 888.50 to the other side first, then get rid of this 62.75. Because to solve means that you're finding X, okay? So to move a positive 888.50 to the other side, I would subtract 888.50 on both sides of my equations, okay? This gets canceled, and you can use your calculator similar to how I'm going to use a calculator for this one. 2,143.50 minus 888.50 will give me 1,255 when I calculate this, okay? The 62.75x I would bring down, okay? Now I would try to break up and isolate this x. This x is being multiplied by 62.75. So to get rid of a multiplier, you're going to have to now divide by 62.75. So divide both sides by 62.75. So 62.75 cancel out, and your x is going to be equal to 1,255 divided by 62.75 would give you 20. Okay? So my equation is what I have right here. Okay? So my equation, I'm going to write it a little bit lower because I didn't have enough space. Was a 2,143.50 equals 62.75x plus 888.50, and my x is 20. Alright, so again guys, just like that. Okay, so let's do the next question. So it says Ella needed to get her computer fixed. She took it to the repair store. The technician at the store worked on the computer for 3 hours. Alright, so 3 hours would technically be the amount of time they're spending, alright, as they're working on that computer, alright, and charged her $61 for parts, alright. So this one should be obvious that it's the y-intercept, because she's not going to spend any more than $61, alright, as the person spends more time, because this is the amount she's spending only once for the parts, okay. So this 61 is representing your initial or your starting value. Okay. So again, this represents your initial or your starting value. Okay. So this one is a giveaway. It says the total bill is a 226. All right. So that one is a big giveaway that it's the total. All right. So what do you think this 3 represents? That 3 is the slope. Alright, so again guys, when I represent this guys, I'll write my total, which is 226, is equal to my slope of a 3, right? They say that x represents the cost of labor per hour. She did 3 hours, so she did 3 hours, alright, and she's spending x as the cost per labor. And then plus 61 is that y-intercept. Alright. So again guys, it looks like that same y equal mx plus b. Okay. So now we need to go ahead and solve this. Again, this is the equation. So for my equation, this is what I would type. Okay. Now I need to solve it. So again, you're going to have to subtract 61, cancel the 3x. I would bring it down. And you can use your calculator. So 226 minus 61 would be 165. All right. Now I'm going to break up this couple by dividing by 3. All right. So your x is equal to 165 divided by 3, I believe, is 55. Okay. So my x that goes with it is 55. You don't need to type the x for this part right here. You just need to type just the number. So again, I know I rewrote the x, but I didn't need to rewrite the x. All you need to just type is just the number. All right. So again, guys, just like that.